Hi, welcome to White Threads FlossTube number 59. Thank you so much for joining me today. Last episode of my White Threads FlossTube was about 5 books that have changed my life, and people really liked it apparently. So I was thinking what else I could do along the same line, and I thought of people who have influenced my career. So I haven't limited this to 5 because there are quite a few people that I want to mention. And as time goes on, there might be more people that I think of that I also want to mention. So don't take today's listing as being the complete set. I'm happy to add to this as time goes on because, yeah, it's always nice to acknowledge people who have influenced you and helped you along. So the first people that I wanted to mention today are my mum and dad. So I have a twin sister. I could probably mention her too, though I don't think she's been influential to my career. She's just been influential to me as a person because, well, she's my twin sister and we're twins. But Mum always encouraged both me and my sister Prue with our embroidery and with our creative pursuits. So she bought us supplies and she took us places. But one of the big things that I think really made a difference, apart from just that general encouragement all the time, was taking our embroidery pieces to craft displays, agricultural shows basically, so that we could enter them into their needlework competitions. So we entered things in the Castle Hill show, which is just a little regional show nearby where we lived, and the St Ives show, which was another one in a different direction, and the Sydney Royal Easter show. And I mentioned, I think in the last one, that we won some awards at the Sydney Royal Easter show. Well, I've been quite privileged to win awards at each of those shows. And they were very, very encouraging to me that I won those awards. I've been in the Standard of Excellence cabinet at the Royal Easter Show a few times. Well, not me, but my work. And just that outside acknowledgement of the quality of my work was really encouraging at that stage of my career. So thank you to Mum for all the encouragement, but particularly all the driving around to take our things to those things. It made a difference. Then my dad is a handyman. He is the sort of person that can do anything. Anything he tries his hand at, he manages to do and do well. He grew up watching houses being built around where he lived, and so from that he learnt to build houses. He fixes cars, he makes stuff, he welds, he does all these really good and fantastic skills, and he does them well. And because my dad's got a can-do attitude, that was what was modelled for me. So because of that, I have a can-do attitude generally, because that's what I saw. And, you know, if that's what you see from your parents, then why would you not think that you couldn't do it either? So they've both been incredibly influential on me in those particular ways on my career. And then the next person I wanted to mention is Miss Gurney. Miss Gurney was my textiles teacher from years 8 to 10. And I found her to be a wonderfully supportive teacher who really encouraged me and helped extend me and give me opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I loved doing textiles and design at school, and we made some fantastic things. I mentioned in the last episode the hardanger that I made, the massive big one that everyone probably thought that I'd bitten off more than I could chew, but I did chew it. And yeah, so Miss Gurney was incredibly influential on me. She opened me up to a world of embroidery that I sort of knew existed, but I'd never had anyone to lead me into it, and she did that. And I'm very grateful because of her, I have my accidental career. I never could have made embroidery into my career without her. So thank you, Miss Gurney. The next person that I have on my list is Mary Corbett. Mary Corbett is the amazing lady behind the Needle and Thread blog or website. It's a whole thing. And she has been incredibly supportive of me over the years. She has reviewed my books and reviewed them very favourably. And that's not because I've told her to, but because she thinks they're worthy of it. And that has been quite lovely, to have her backing me along the way. She is the world's premier needlework blogger, and to have the support of a person like that, it's amazing. So thank you to Mary. She's reviewed several of my, well, she's reviewed books on her website, but she's also written reviews, testimonials to go on the backs of my books, and I'm incredibly grateful to her for that. The next person I have on my list, and these are in no particular order except for Mum and Dad, they needed to come first, is Christine P. Bishop. So Christine Bishop is a needlework teacher who is from South Australia, and she does a lot of historical needlework, particularly white work. She's done different ones than I have, and that's been quite deliberate on my part, because what Christine's done well, I don't need to do. And she's an amazing teacher. I've never actually had her as a teacher, but many of my students have, and they tell me that she is formidable. But I think that that's just an act that she puts on, because she is a lovely, lovely person who has supported me and encouraged me. She has recommended me to various conferences and events as being someone that they should get as a teacher. And she has offered me access to her collection for photography if I've needed it, and I'm just incredibly grateful for the kind words that Christine has spoken of me to others, and she's made a huge difference. I will probably never know the full difference of what she's made to my career, but I'm incredibly grateful, so thank you, Christine. And that's where I might leave it for today. I do have more, so I might come back to them next time, or I might leave it a little while and come back to those other ones in the future. So they are, how many was that? That was 5 people who have influenced my career and made me a different person than I would have been otherwise. So thank you to them, and thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to share 5 people who have influenced your needlework pursuits, then I'd love to hear about that. Perhaps there is an embroiderer who has inspired you. There might be, it doesn't even need to be an embroiderer, it could be an artist, it could be your best friend, it could be anyone. So I'd love to hear about that. It's really nice to have conversations about these things rather than me just talking to you. So I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much for joining me again today, and I will see you next time. Bye.